Allah Almighty. State your registry. I'd like to move over a little bit to your right for the camera. State your registry.
Quadat, Ban Yahawada, Ban Yashrala.
Quadat Ban Yahawada Ban Yasha'ala.
Shalom, Yahba Shem Yashabrakata.
Yahba Shem Yashabrakata.
La Yasha'ala.
I imagine, which means to stand. Wapanyaha Kwadam and face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Quadash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakavka, Laba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathanawa, Lacham, Kau, Yawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kabawaf Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawaf Nawa, it's like it. Kabawaf Yanawa, Wala'a, Dabaya'a Nawa, Banasayawa, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Warai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Watapara, La Awalamyam, Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Hakak, the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Baba Kusha, Thunder Nawa, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Kamakala, Wakal Marawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Lahakuyam, Hamakyam, Hakak, Al-Rahawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarashan, like it by Shem Yahushua, Wada Aman, in the English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua, please give us the power, the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the leprous, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. The Psalms 121 in the Hebrew, Asha'ah, Ayanya, All Haharim, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'ai, Yahweh, Aisha, like it, Shemayim, Warataza, Al Yatan, Lamawat, Ragalka, Al Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shabamor, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'a, Yakaka, Yarak,
Wayarak,
Balayala,
Balayala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamorka,
Shamarka,
Makaurai,
Makarai,
Yashamor,
Yashamar,
Afnapashka,
Afnapasha,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamor,
Yashamor,
Tazahaka,
Tazahaka,
Wabawaaka,
Wabawaaka,
Maita,
Mayata,
Wa'ai,
Wa'ai,
Awalam,
Awalam,
Amad.
Aman.
I will lift up mine eyes into the hills,
I will lift up my eyes to the
from
hills,
which cometh my help.
from which cometh my help.
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from
which,
Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth,
He
like
that-
it, like it, like it. He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth
shall
Israel
neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee
Yahweh shall
from
preserve thee
all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming in.
From this time forth
For this time forth,
and even forevermore,
even forevermore.
so be it.
So be it.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahaya.
Allahaya.
Al damayalaka.
Al Demayal Lakat.
Al the farash.
Al the Karash.
Wa al dashakwat.
Wa Al Dashakwat.
Al
Al
kayahana.
Kayahana.
Awayabdika.
Our Yabyaka.
Yahama yawan.
Yahama Yawan.
Wamashanayaka.
Wamashanayaka.
Nasha'awa.
Nasha'awaka.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al aimaka.
Al Imaka.
Ya'irayamwa.
Ya Ayaranba.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Wayata ya'ai tazawa.
Wayata Ya'i Tazawa.
Al tazapawanyaka.
Al Tazawanyaka.
It's like an al tazapawanyaka.
Al Tazapawanyaka.
Amorwa.
Amora.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakyagam.
Wanakapyaga.
Magoya.
Magori.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Sham yasha'ala.
Sham Yashal.
Aiwad.
Iwa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa'ai tazawa.
Nawa'i Tazawa.
Lam.
La.
Yahadwa.
Yakawa.
Alyaka.
Auyaka.
Barya.
Baria.
Yakarakwa.
Yakarakwa.
Ahoya.
Ahoy.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Wayashama aliyam.
One Mashanya Island.
Mawa'aba.
Mawa'aba.
Wahagoyam.
Wahagori.
Gabal.
Gabor.
Wa'imawad.
One Ayuwan.
Wa'imalak.
Wayamala.
Palashak.
Palasha.
Amyashabya.
Yashabya.
Hazawar.
Tazawar.
Gam Ashawar.
Gam Ashawar.
Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Aiman.
Imam.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zarawai.
Zaharai.
It's like it's Zarawai.
Zarawai.
Labanya Lawat.
Labamya Larai.
Salah.
Salah.
Aisha Laham.
Ashalaham.
Kamadyan.
Kamadian.
Kasaya Sara'a.
Kasaya Samaraya.
Kayabyan.
Kayabya.
Banakal.
Banakal.
Kwayashwan.
Kwayash.
Nashamadwa.
Nasharatwa.
Ba'ayan Da'ara.
Bayaan Adara.
Hayawa.
Hayu.
Daman.
Damam.
La Adama.
Laladam.
Shayatamwa.
Shayatam.
Narayamawa.
Nayaam
It's like it Narayabmawa.
Nada Ayura.
Ka Narayabmawa.
Nayayab Wira.
Ka'irab.
Kayara.
Wakazahaba.
Wakazahab.
Wakazabak.
Wakazaba.
Wakatazalmanai.
Wakazalmanai.
How?
Ka.
Nasa Yakamwa.
Nessa Yakamwa.
Ashore.
Sure.
Amorwa.
Amora.
Nayarasha.
Nayarasha.
Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Na'awa.
Na'awa.
Alahayam.
Adahai.
Alahaya.
Alahaya.
Shayatamwa.
Shayatamwa.
Kagalgala.
Kagalgala.
Kakwash.
Kakwash.
Lapanya Raka.
Lapanya Raka.
Ka'ash.
Ka'ash.
Daba Ira Ya'ira.
Daba Ayir Ya'ir.
It's like it Daba. It's like it Daba Ira Ya'ira.
Daba Ayir Ya'ira.
It's like it Wakalahaba.
Wakalahaba.
Balahat.
Sayat.
Haryam.
Hari.
Khan.
Khan.
Daradapma.
Saryadatma.
Basa Iraka.
Basa Irika.
Wabasawapaka.
Wabasabur Papka.
Dabahalam.
Daba Halam.
Mala'a.
Mala.
Panyaham.
Panya.
Kwalawan.
Kwala.
Wayabakwashwa.
Waba Wakwashwa.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawa.
Yahweh.
Yabaswa.
Yabaswa.
Wayabahalwa.
Wayabahawa.
Aya'ai.
Ayai.
Wayakhaparwa.
Wayakapor.
Wayabadwa.
Waya Abad.
Wayada'irwa.
Waya Daira.
Kaya, Atha, Shemka, Yahweh, Labadka, Al Yawan, Al, Kal, Rakaza, Aman. In the English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not thou still, O Yahweh.
For lo,
lo,
thy enemies make a tumult.
Thy enemies make their tumult.
And they that hate thee, have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden one.
They
have said,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation.
That
the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom. And the Ishmaelites. Of Moab. And the Hagarenes. Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them, as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kasad, with Paris and Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make the nobles like Oreb. And like Zeed. Yea. All their princes. As Zabah. And as Zamuna. Who said, let us take to ourselves. The house of Yahweh in possession. All my power. Make them like a wheel. As the stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth for wood. And as the flames setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest. And make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. O Yahweh. Let them be confounded. And troubled forever. Yea. Let them be put to shame. And perish. That men may know. Whose name alone is Yahweh. At the Most High. Over the earth. So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew. Rakatha Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shai. Wama Yaka'ala. Wa Alahayim. Matazab Ya'ah. It's like a Matazab Ya'ah. Alawat Yahana. Ha Alawatyam. Ha Saranyam. Ha Kodazayanyam. Ha Koyayoyam. Wa Ha Agwafyam. Yahweh. Ba'ashim Yahushua. The water month. In the English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushua. And Michael. And the angel. Commanding General Yahana. The general. The captain. The officer. The trooper. And the sister. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashim Yahushua. Barak Lanawa. Wa Yasha'ala. Waha Bayasapoya. Like Waha Bayasapoya. Barak. Rabah. Hagun. Ba'ashim Yahushua. The water of month. What we just said in the English, just me, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. Sar, which means to turn. Yeshavium, which means to be seated. Shalom, Israel, with the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge. Started 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command General Hunter. Not affiliated with any other Israelite group, nor any other Christian organization. All right? Any Christian organization. All right? So with that being said, we're going to be in the book of Judges. And we're going to start at verse 28, and then we're going to make our way to verse 36. All right? And then, all right, so let's get verse 28 in the Hebrew. Get that for me in the Judges chapter 1, verse 28 in the English shop for Shop. Yeah, Judges chapter 1, chapter 1, verse 28. Come. So I'm gonna read in the I'm gonna be reading in the Hebrew, all right? All right. So we got Shapatyim. If you did not know, Shapatyim is judges, all right? So Shapatyim, let's see, Shamarna, all right, Shamarna, Asherayim, that's verse 28. Wa Yahaya Kaya Chazak Yasha Allah wa Yasham. It's like wa Yasham Hakanaanya Lamat wa Hawariyam. It's like a Wariyash. All right, Yarash like it. Wa Hawariyash La'a Hawa Yarashwa. Verse the Shai Asherayim. Wa Aparyam La'a Hawarash like it. Warayash, Hawarayash, Hakanaanya, Wazawa, Wayashawab, like it. Hayawashab, let's see, Bagazar, like it. Bagazar, Wayashab, Hakanaanya, Bakorabwa, Bagazar, like it. Bagazar. Verse Shalashim, all right, verse Shalashim, which is verse 30. Zabalawan La'a Haraash, it's like a Hawarayash Yawashabya Kawaran Kawar, it's like it. Qatarwan Wa'a Yawashabya Nahalal, all right, Nahalal, all right. Right, na halal, wa yashab, like it, wa yashab, hakanaanya, bakorabwa, wa yahayawa, lamas, right, which I believe is tribute, right, mas, group of laborers and tribute, all right, verse achad, right, verse achad, shalashim, which is verse 31, ashar laha, Hawarash Yashabya Ikawa. It's like a Ikawa. It's like a Ikawa wa Yawashabya Tazayadwan wa Akhalab wa Akazar. It's like it. Akazayab wa Kalaba. It's like a Khalaba. Wa'a apayak wa'a rachab vershanya shalashim was verse 32. Wa yashab ha'asharya bakorab hakanaanya yashabya ha'arataza kaya la'a hawarayash, like it, hawarayashwa. Verse Shalashim, which is verse 33, right? Shapat Parak, all right? We're in verse chapter Achad, all right? Shapat, which is judges, all right? Shapatyim, which is judges. Parak, which is chapter, all right? And then Achad is one. So we're in Shapatyim Parak Achad, Judges chapter 1, verse Shalashim, which is verse 33, all right? Napatalia la'a Hawarayash, it's like a Hawarayash Yashabya Baya Shamash Wa'a Yashabya Baya Ainat wa Yashab Bakura Hakanaanya Yashabya Arataza wa Yashabya Baya Shamash Wabaya, it's like a Wabaya Ainat Hayawa Laham Lamas. Verse Arabai Shalashim. Wala Khataza, like it. Wala Khataza wa Ha'amarya Banya Dan. All right. Hahara Kaya La'a Nathanwa Laradat. It's like it Laradat Laima. Right. Verse Hamash Shalashim, verse 35. Waya wa'ala, all right. Wayala Ha'amoria La Shabaf Bahar Haras Ba'ayal Nawa Ba'ayal Wan Waba Sha'ailab. All right, young. All right. Waba Sha'ailab young. The Kaban. It's like what the Kaban Yad Bayat Yawasa. What Wayahayawa Lamas. Verse 30, verse Shalashim, which is verse 36. Right? Verse Shalash, verse Shalashim, verse 36. Wagabawa Ha'amarya Mama Aila Ikarabya Ma'asalah, Salai, Hamasalai, Mahasalai, Wama Aila. All right, that's it. Let's get it in the English shot. Start at verse 28, book of Shah.
Gone. This is the book of Judges chapter 1, verse 28. And it came to pass, when Israel was strong, that they put the Canaanites to tribute and did not utterly drive them out.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time out.
And did not utterly drive them out.
So in verse 28, it's saying, and it came to pass when Israel was strong, that they put the Canaanites to tribute and did not utterly drive them out. Now remember, the Lord gave an order that they were supposed to drive out all the nations out of the land of Canaan because this was supposed to be our land. So they did not follow the orders that was given by the Lord. Like the Lord gave us, what was it? I'm gonna lose that word, matazabawaf. All right, He gave us commandments. All right, He gave us those commands for a reason. All right, but we did not follow Him, and that's a problem. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 29. Neither did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites.
It said what?
Neither did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites.
Like Ephraim didn't drive out the Canaanites either. And that's going to cause problems down the line that we'll eventually get to. Go ahead,
Come. That dwelt in Gezer.
That dwelt in what?
That dwelt in Gezer.
Gezer. Like they dwell in Gezer. They weren't supposed to be there. Ephraim, which would be the so-called Puerto Ricans today, they were supposed to drive out these other nations. Go ahead.
Come. Among them.
Among who?
Among them.
Go ahead. They were supposed to drive them out among them, but they did not follow the orders given by the Lord. And that's a problem. If you are so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native American, if the Lord gives you an order, you're supposed to follow it to a T. You cannot just decide when you want to follow orders from the Lord. And that becomes a serious problem down the line. That's another reason why, on a sidebar, the reason why the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community were suffering so much, because we are not realizing we are to follow and listen and do what the Lord tells us to do. Because if we don't, it's going to cause problems down the line. If we did what the Lord said to do, then the Lord would have been with us, and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, all right, and Black Wall Street would have never been destroyed the way it was if we did what the Lord said to do and not be Christians. And then it became more problems down the line, and now you have the crack epidemic. Now you have heroin addicts. Now you have drug addicts. Now you have drug dealers. Now you have sisters not having a man in the home. You understand? Like, these are all the problems that's going to cause down the line. We're going to read this eventually down the chapters in the book of Judges, and the Lord is going to show us how important it is to follow His commands and to listen to what the Lord says to do. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 30. Neither did Zebulun drive out the inhabitants of Catron.
So Zebulun didn't do it either. Like, damn near the northern tribes, they ain't listening to what the Lord said to do. Like, the nation of Israel, period, is not doing what the Lord said to do. And that's going to cause problems down the line. Go ahead.
Come. Nor the inhabitants of Nahalal.
So now they didn't even take out these inhabitants either. Go ahead.
Come. But the Canaanites dwelt among them.
The Canaanites were never supposed to dwell among Israelites. The Lord gave an order since Moses to completely, utterly destroy them. But once again, we did not follow the orders given to the Lord, given from the Lord, and that's going to cause problems down the line. And we're going to eventually get to that the more we read the book of Judges. There are problems that are down the line now because we did not listen to the Lord and do what the Lord said to do. And we have to realize as a people, if we don't do what the Lord says to do, it's going to cause a lot of problems down the line. It's just plain and simple. Straight like that. If we don't do what the Lord says, it's going to cause problems. Don't do what the Lord says, it's going to cause chaos. If you don't do what the Lord says, it's going to cause confusion. All right? Point blank, period. And that's something that we have to understand. Go ahead.
Come. But the Canaanites dwelt among them,
because they were never supposed to dwell among us. Go ahead.
And became tributaries.
And became what?
Tributaries.
And became tributaries, meaning they became second-class citizens. They became someone that was going to serve us. Now, even though that sounds good, it does sound good that another nation of people are serving us and they're paying us tribute. It does sound good. It does. Don't get it twisted. It sounds great. It sounds wonderful. But it doesn't matter. You know why? Because the Lord gave a specified order. The Lord specified in his orders. The Lord gave specific instructions for us to completely, utterly destroy these nations and cast them out. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 31. Neither did Asher drive out the inhabitants of Acho.
So Asher didn't do what the Lord said to do. Go ahead.
Come. Nor the inhabitants of Zidon.
Go ahead.
Nor of Alab.
Go ahead.
Nor of Akziv.
Go ahead.
Nor of Helbah.
Go ahead.
Nor of Afik.
Go ahead.
Nor of Rehob.
Like, here's another problem. Like, we were not, like, listen, man, these are different people of the Canaanites, like different sections of Canaanite people, all right? All right, which would be Africans, all right? So-called Africans. We were supposed to cast them out, all right? All right, we were supposed to, this is a sector of Ham, I should say, which would be the so-called Africans, and we were supposed to cast these Africans out and to utterly destroy them, all right? But guess what? Asher didn't do the job either. Go ahead,
Come. Verse 32. But the Asherites dwelt among the Canaanites.
Once again, we were never supposed to dwell among the Canaanites. We were supposed to cast them out and utterly destroy them. Go ahead,
Come. The inhabitants of the land.
Go ahead.
For they did not drive them out.
Because we were supposed to drive them out. Like, that was the order from the Lord. Like, that was the absolute command from the Lord that we were supposed to completely, right, cast them out. We were supposed to run them out of town and utterly destroy them. But we did not do what the Lord said to do, and that's why we're having these problems right now. Go ahead,
Come. Verse 33. Neither did Naphtali drive out the inhabitants of Bethshemesh.
It said what?
Neither did Naphtali drive out the inhabitants of Bethshemesh.
There you go. Neither did Naphtali drive out the inhabitants of Bethshemesh. And that's another problem that we have. Naphtali in the Hebrew. We did not do it. Once again, we did not follow the orders of the Lord. Go ahead,
Come. Nor the inhabitants of Bethlehem.
Go ahead.
But he dwelt among the Canaanites.
But among the who?
The Canaanites.
Once again, we were supposed to cast out and utterly destroy these Canaanites, but we did not. Go ahead,
Come. The inhabitants of the land.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, the inhabitants of Bethshemesh and of Bethlehem became tributaries unto them.
Now, once again, it sounds good. They're paying us tribute. They're second-class citizens. We're still the rulers of the nation of Israel. But that was not the order, and that was not the command. Go ahead,
Come. Verse 34. And the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountains.
It said what?
And the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountains.
Now, the Amorites, one time the tribe of Dan was once a part of the nation of Israel. All right, Joseph itself, which was Ephraim and Manasseh put together, the tribe of Joseph was one tribe, all right? And then you have the tribe of Dan, and that's what made 12. Now, Dan is no longer a tribe of Israel anymore due to the fact that since Dan was so small and there was not enough men, all right, to run that tribe and to make more Danites, they end up merging into the tribe of Manasseh, all right, and Ephraim, and now you have two half tribes of Manasseh and Ephraim, which still equals to 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead,
Come. For they would not suffer them to come down to the valley.
They punked the Danites, which was never supposed to happen. We're the children of Israel, and those Amorites punked the Danites to not come down from this valley. Go ahead,
Come. Verse 35. But the Amorites would dwell in Mount Heres, in Aijalon, and in Shaalbim. Yet the hand of the house of Joseph prevailed, so that they became tributaries.
So even though they punked the Danites, guess who they did not punk? They did not punk, all right? They did not punk the tribe of Joseph. And Joseph made them tributaries, still made them second-class citizens to pay us tribute. Now, it sounds good, and it does sound great, but that was not the order from the Lord. The Lord said to cast them out and utterly destroy them, to drive them out and to utterly destroy them. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 36. And the coast of the Amorites was from the going up to Aquabim, from the rock and upward.
Now, this was where the coast of the Amorites was from, the going up of Aquabim, from the rock and upward. So this was the location of where they would be, all right? All right? Like, we have to understand this one point. We're going to get next week in the Sabbath service of how important it is to serve the Lord, because you're going to read Judges. You're going to read Judges chapter 1 all the way, I want to say, how many books are there in Judges? Let's get it real quick. The table of contents of the book of Judges. You got 21 chapters within Judges. From Judges chapter 1 to Judges chapter 21, the Lord is going to explain to us how important it is to serve him, to do what we say. At one point in time, the book of Judges is when judges was in power, right? When judges, which were men that were in power, all right? And they had the authority to do this and do that and say this and say that. There was no kingship at this time, all right? There was no kingship until King Saul, all right? All right, so you would have to, before we even get there, we would have to read Ruth, which was the very next book. And that's how King David came to be, all right? All right, I believe that's his lineage, if I'm not mistaken, all right? So with that being said, I say Amadim, which means to stand, which is just up here.
Like Allah.
All right, this would be the time that the men of the Lord, the priests and prophets of the Lord, all right, troopers, young men, all right, even young men would come up and salute the Torah. At this time, they would salute the Tanakh. Amadim, which means to stand. All right, Amadim, which means to stand. That's now everyone. Wapan Wapanyaha Kwadam and face the east. All right. The east will be this way. Make sure your body is most on Christ. Make sure it's tucked right, most on Christ. All right. And we're going to get the Lord's Prayer, right, in the last Shema Kodash. Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabashemaya,
Shabashemaya,
Wadash,
Wadash,
Haya,
Haya,
Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakuka,
Malakuka,
Daba'a,
Daba'a,
Ratazaka,
Ratazar,
Haya,
Haya,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Barataza,
Baratazar,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Haya,
Haya,
Bashemaya,
Bashemaya,
Nathanawa,
Nathanawa,
Lacham,
Lacham,
Kal,
Kal,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalakanawa,
Wasalakanawa,
Kabawaknawa,
Kabawaknawa,
Kasalaknawa,
Kasalaknawa,
Kabawaknawa,
Kabawaknawa,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Dabaya'anawa,
Dabayawa,
Banasayawan,
Banasayawan,
Abba,
Abba,
Abashaynawa,
Abashawa,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Kamalakwa,
Amalak,
Waha'ala,
Walaya,
Wahatapara,
Wala Apara,
Lawa Alak, like La Awalamyam,
La Alaranium,
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, our Father,
Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom
Thy
come.
will be done.
Thy will be done
in earth
in
as
earth
it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily
our
bread,
daily
and
bread,
forgive us our debts
and forgive us our
as
debts,
we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our
And
debts,
lead us not
and lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
but deliver
from
us
evil.
from
For
evil.
thine is the kingdom,
Thou art the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Akak, the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashim Yahushai,
Hashem Yahushua,
Babu Kushai,
Babu Kushah,
Nathanawa,
Lathanawa,
Hakak,
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 Lavapa'a,
Lavapa'a,
Kamakala,
Kamakara,
Wakal Marawa,
Wakal Madara,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Latahar,
Latahar,
Hamadazariah,
Hamatazariah,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Lahakuyam,
Lahak,
Hamathiam,
Hamathi,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Al-Rahawa,
Al-Rakhala,
Hatama'ala,
Hatamala,
Lagarashan,
Lagarashan,
Ba'ashim Yahushai,
Hashem Yahushua,
the water Aman.
the water Aman,
In the English, Yahweh. In
Yahweh,
the name of Yahushai,
in the name of Yahweh,
please
please
give us the power,
give us the power
to heal
to heal
all manner of
all
sickness
men that sick,
and all manner of disease,
all men that
the
disease,
power to cleanse the leprous,
power to cleanse
the
the leper,
power to raise the dead,
power to raise the
the
dead,
power against unclean spirits,
power against unclean
to
spirits,
cast them out.
to cast them out.
In the name of
In
Yahushua,
the name of Yahweh,
thank you, so be it.
so be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew, Asha'a,
Asha,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
all Hohayim,
all Lahara,
Ma'ayan,
Mayaha,
Yaba'a,
Yaba'a,
Isaiah,
Isaiah,
Ma'ayin,
Ma'ai,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Shemaya,
Shemaiah,
Wa'arataza,
Wa'arataza,
Al-Yatan,
Ayathan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Ragalka,
Regalka,
Al-Yanawam,
Al-Nanawam,
Shemoraka,
Shemoraka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'a,
La'a,
Yanawam,
Winawam,
Wila'a,
Wila'a,
Yayashan,
Yayashan,
Shawamor,
Shawamor,
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shemoraka,
Shemoraka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazal,
Al-Yad,
Al-Yad,
Yamyanka,
Yamyan,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Hashemah,
La'a,
Ya'a,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarat,
Wayirat,
Balayala,
Balayila,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamaraka,
Yashamaraka,
Makarai,
Makarai,
Yashamor,
Yashamar,
Afnapaska,
Afnapah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamor,
Yashamor,
Taza'afka,
Tazaf,
Wabawa'aka,
Wa'al,
Ma'ita,
Ma'ita,
Wa'ai,
Wa'ai,
Awalam,
Awalam,
Aman.
Amon.
In the English, I will lift up mine eyes into the
I
hills,
will lift up my eyes into the
from
hills,
whence cometh my help.
from which cometh my help.
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from
which
high,
made heaven and earth.
who made heaven and earth.
We will not, it's like he will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee, it's like he that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right head.
Yahweh is thy shade upon their right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all
He
evil.
shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming in.
From this time forth
From this time
and
forth
even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Al dam like alahaya.
Alahaya.
Al damaya laka.
Al damala la
Slagaka. Al damaya laka.
al damaya laka.
Al takharash.
Al dekarash.
Wa al tashakwat.
Wa al dachakwat.
Al
Al
kayahana.
kayana.
Awayabyaka.
Al yabyaka.
Yahama yawan.
Yahama yawan.
Wama shanayaka.
Woman shanayaka.
Nasha'awa.
Sha'awa.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al aimaka.
Al am.
Ya arayamwa.
Ya ayam.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Wayata ya ay tazawa. Altazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Manakakidam, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakor, Sham Yasha Allah, Aibat, Kaya, Nawa I Tazawa, like in Nawa I Tazawa, Nawa I Tazawa, La, Yakadwa, Alyaka, Barya, Yakarahwa, Ahoya, Adawab, Wayashama'aliyah, Mawa'aba, Wahagoya, Gabal, Wa'amawai, Wa'amala, Palasha, I'm Yashabya, Hazawar, Gam Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zabawai, Labanalawat, Salah, Aisha Laham, Kamadian, Kasaya Sara'a, like it, Kasaya Sara'a, Kayabyan, Banahal, like it, that's me. Banachal, or Yashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan Da'ara, Hayawa, Daman, La Adama, Shayathamwa, Nadayamuwa, Ka'ira, Wakaza'aba, Wakazabak, Wakazazalmanai, Haul, Nasayakamwa, Ashur, Amorwa, Nayavasha, Lanawa, Na'ara, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, Lapanyavaha, Ka'ash, Daba Ira, Bukalahaba, Kalahat, Haryam, Khan, Baradatma, Basa Irika, Baba Sabapaka, Baba Halam, Mala'a, Hanyaham, Walawad, Waya Bakwaswa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabaswa, Waya Bahalwa, Ayya Waya Kaporwa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Da'aywa, Kaya, Ava, Shamka, Yahawa, Labarka, Al, it's like an Al you one, Al, Kal, Arataza, Aman. In the English, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O Yahweh. And be not still, Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee, have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, as the book of Kasad, which perished at Endor. Which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a ram. And like Zered. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah and as Amuna, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. Oh my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth for wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shade, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded, and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish. that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name
is
alone
Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the Most High
are the Most
over
High
all the earth.
above the earth.
So be it.
So be it.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa ma Yaka'ala.
Wa ma Yaka'ala.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Matazab Yahweh.
Alawat Yahana.
Alawat Yahana.
Ha Alawatiyam.
Ha Alawat.
Hasaranyam.
Hasaranyam.
Ha Kudazayanyam.
Ha Kudazayanyam.
Ha Koyayayam.
Ha Koyayayam.
Wa Agwafyan.
Wa Yahweh.
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 By Shem Yahweh Shai.
Hashem Yahweh
The water Aman.
The water Aman.
In the English, bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Mike.
And Mike.
And the angel.
And the angel.
Commanding General Yahana.
Commanding General
The
Yahana.
general.
The general.
The captain. The officer. The trooper. And the sister.
And the sister.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
The prayer of the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of the heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
Speak against
Thy
us.
prophets.
The prophets.
The teachers. The princes. The priests. The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the school.
Send evils and curses.
And evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose the treasure.
And shake loose the treasure.
Of the rich of Israel.
The riches of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to get to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
To enter thy sanctuary.
Into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nations.
And the drug dealers. The court system. The prison system. Planned Parenthood. All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Emelite synagogues and armies.
Emelite synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic
The
Church.
Pope.
The Pope.
Egyptology. Aryan Nation. The lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
Army.
Navy. Air Force. Marines. Wall Street. Open up the internet.
Open up the
In the
internet.
airways. The cable access channel. And the radio channel. Convict the spirit of any of that people that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Let loose all the plagues. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh Shai, Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathen that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at that coming. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you always. So be it. Bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh. By Shem Yahweh Shai. Barak Lanawa. Wa Yasha'ala. Waha Bayah Saparia. Barak. Rabah. Magun. Hagun. By Shem Yahweh Shai. The water Aman. What we just said in the English is Miyah. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Sar, which means to turn. Agwakim, Yeshabim, which means to be seated. Just the Agwakim. The sisters can now be seated. The men of Israel. We're going to give a quick salute to the brothers. All right, men of Israel. Amadu Shabbat. Amadu. Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Barakatam. Yadim Matah. Sar La Agwakim, which means turn to the sisters. Agwakim, Amadian, which means now you can stand. Men of Israel. We're going to give a quick salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amadu Shabbat, Amadu, Barak, Yahweh Shemar Alatan Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Yadim Matah. With that, class dismissed.